Meanwhile, on the other side, Jinwoo and Jinho were discussing in their office to decide on a suitable name for the guild they were about to establish. Jinwoo suggested another name, Ajin Guild. Hearing that, Jinho seemed to agree more with that name compared to Solo Guild. Thus, their guild name was agreed upon as Ajin Guild. After deciding on the guild name, the next step was to find members. Jinho then asked, "What about Hunter Cha Hai-in from yesterday?" Jinwoo answered that Hunter Cha Hai-in didn't seem to meet the criteria for the member he was looking for. Hearing that, Jinho was very surprised at his Hyung Nim. After all, Hunter Cha Hai-in was an S-rank hunter with an outstanding record. Did Hyung Nim think he could find someone better than her? Jinho then said that the criteria for the person he was looking for was a hunter who didn't care about guild activities and was trustworthy. Hearing that, someone Jinho knew suddenly came to mind. However, a moment later, Jinwoo had a visitor. It turned out to be Chairman Park Jong-soo and two members of the Night Guild. They were invited into the office and began talking. Jong-soo showed a video of a large gate that had appeared in his area. Jinwoo asked, "Is this an S-rank gate?" Jong-soo answered that this gate couldn't be estimated. Although the association said it was an A-rank gate, its size didn't match at all. It was the largest gate that had appeared in Busan. And since their guild didn't have an S-rank hunter, they weren't granted a raid permit by the Hunter Association. Therefore, the purpose of their visit was to propose a collaboration with Mr. Sung. "I will give you 20% of the profits from this raid." But Jinwoo responded, "The profits must be split 50-50. I'm willing to collaborate if you consider me a guild, not an individual, because I've just established the Ajin Guild." Jong-soo tried to negotiate, but Jinwoo said he wasn't trying to negotiate. It seemed there was no choice. "All right, I agree. Can Hunter Sung Jinwoo defeat the boss?" Jinwoo answered, "Of course." Jong-soo then shook hands with Jinwoo and said, "We'll start the raid tomorrow, so see you then." Jinwoo then slipped his shadow soldier into Jong-soo's shadow. To cut the story short, on the day of the raid, the hunters from the Night Guild had gathered in Busan to begin the raid. Jong-soo looked at the time on his phone and said, "Damn, the raid starts in 5 minutes and Hunter Sung still hasn't arrived. I should have invited him along yesterday so he wouldn't be late." Meanwhile, on the other side, Jinwoo was still in his apartment, looking at the cloudy weather. "Did Jinna take an umbrella to school?" Jinwoo muttered. "All right, it's time for me to go to the raid." Jinwoo then activated his shadow exchange skill to teleport to Jong-soo's location at the raid site. The scene then shifts to Jinna's school. 3 students were walking down the hallway to retrieve an item from an unused room. However, as they were about to enter the room, a gate suddenly appeared there. While they were panicking at the appearance of the gate, one brave student stood in front of it. The student said, "Why are you all so scared?" A closed gate like this isn't dangerous at all. It takes about a week for the gate to fully open, so no monsters can come out right now. The 2 students behind him wondered, did this gate just appear? Or has it been here for a while? But shockingly, a crack formed on the gate. Immediately, a monster's hand reached out from the gate and grabbed the head of the student standing in front of it. In an instant, the student's head was crushed. The 2 students who saw this screamed in terror. At that moment, a horde of orc monsters emerged from the gate and immediately began slaughtering the humans before them. Orc-type monsters are natural hunters. Although their intelligence is lower than humans, these monsters are superior in tracking and hunting prey with their senses. Even without relying on GPS, they already knew the location of their prey. The monster said, "This place is full of prey. Below, above, and above again. This building is like a complicated fortress. After we slaughter all the humans in this fortress, we will begin the real hunt. Let's clear this place first." Meanwhile, at that moment, while students were chatting with each other, they were suddenly shocked by the appearance of a horde of monsters attacking them abruptly. The scene then shifts to Jinwoo, who had arrived at the raid location in Busan. Jinwoo stood in front of the gate and said, "It seems bigger up close." At this time, 13 A-rank hunters and 20 B-rank hunters from the Night Guild were preparing. However, when they saw Jinwoo arriving at the raid site, the hunters there immediately crowded around him. They said, "Mr. Sung, your raid on Jeju Island was amazing. How did you summon those black soldiers? Will you be leading this raid personally, Mr. Sung?" As they continued to fire off various questions, someone stopped them. It was Hunter Young Yeri, the main attacker for this raid. Chairman Yong-soo also came and explained that he would be leading the raid, while Hunter Sung Jinwoo's role was solely to protect them during this raid. Hearing that, his members looked disappointed. Why is Chairman Yong-soo leading again? And do we really need to be protected by Hunter Sung Jinwoo? One hunter said to Jinwoo, "Do the members of the Night Guild look that weak in your eyes, Hunter Sung?" Chairman Jong-soo answered, "You're quite brave to say that, but this is how we really are." Jinwoo said, "They seem quite reliable." And a moment later, the raid time finally arrived. Chairman Jong-soo enthusiastically told all his members to begin the raid. The scene then shifts to the Hunter Association office, where an employee received an emergency call from someone. The person reported that a horde of monsters had appeared at their school and were slaughtering students. The employee was shocked and asked, "Where are you now? And how many monsters are there?" It turned out the caller was a female student hiding in a toilet, trembling with fear. The student answered, "I'm hiding in the toilet. And I don't know exactly how many monsters there are. I just heard the screams of many people being attacked by the monsters." Ah, am I going to die?" The employee replied, "Please calm down, listen to me. Hunters will be dispatched immediately. They will surely save you. And can you describe the characteristics of the monsters?" The student groaned and answered, "The monsters look like terrifying humans and their skin is green." Hearing the description, the employee panicked. "What? Could they be orcs? This is bad. You must run away now, because those monsters can sense the presence of their prey." Unfortunately, it was too late. Without realizing it, an orc monster had detected the girl's presence and immediately killed her. The story of the girl's death reached the association employee. So at that time, the students were seen panicking and running to escape the school. Meanwhile, the students still trapped inside the school were being hunted by the monsters. The monsters mercilessly killed every human they encountered. The monster said, "Half of this place is done. We've also blocked the exits. Let's go upstairs and slaughter all the remaining humans." On one side, the trapped students on the upper floors were now trying to survive by hiding in classrooms. They had also tightly barricaded the classroom doors with piles of desks and chairs. But shockingly, the monsters found them easily and immediately destroyed the classroom door. Of course, the students inside the classroom panicked and were terrified. Jinna was also there with Han Song-yi. One orc monster arrived, approaching them while carrying a blood-stained sword. In a panic, one student tried to escape through a different door. But behind that door, a monster was already waiting outside. And instantly, the monster brutally killed that student. The monsters then started gathering and saw the cornered students. "Look at those humans, they are so terrified of us. Let's slaughter them." At this moment, Jinna looked very frightened. In her heart, she kept calling for her brother. On one side, Song-ai tried to overcome her fear by saying, "I am also a hunter. My rank is only E, but I'm still a hunter." Jinna replied, "What are you saying? Don't tell me you want to fight that monster?" From a distance, two orc monsters spotted Jinna. "Look at that woman. Although she feels very weak, I can still sense a bit of magical energy from her." Immediately after, the monster then attacked Jinna with its mace. Jinna and Song-ai were terrified and seemed to resign themselves to their fate. However, shockingly, a shadow suddenly emerged, a high orc shadow soldier, and blocked the monster's attack. It turned out to be Jinwoo's shadow soldier that had been placed within Jinna's shadow. Seeing this, Jinna was surprised and felt a bit relieved. This shadow creature seems to belong to Appa. At that moment, the high orc shadow began to unleash its punches, sending the monster flying out through the building's roof. Two other high orc general shadow soldiers also emerged to protect Jinna. The scene then shifts to Jinwoo, who had entered the dungeon with the members of the Night Guild. The dungeon they entered looked like a ruined tomb. After exploring the dungeon for a while, they were immediately confronted by an ogre-type monster, a two-headed ghoul. Jong-soo told all his members to stay alert, and at that moment the monster attacked with its axe. In response, Jong-soo activated a protective magic barrier to block the attack. When the monster's attack was successfully blocked, one hunter quickly climbed onto the monster's body and slashed both of its eyes. While the monster lost its sight, another hunter cut its legs and arms. Meanwhile, from behind, the mages finished their incantations and released fire and lightning magic. Finally, the monster was defeated. Jong-soo then said to Jinwoo, "I thought this raid wouldn't be easy. I didn't expect we'd face a two-headed ghoul right at the start." "Do you know what kind of monster that is?" Hunter Sung. Jinwoo answered, "It's a tomb guardian monster." "Exactly, Hunter Sung. It's fine if we face them as a dungeon boss, but if we encounter that monster at the beginning, then what we will face next is an army of undead monsters." And sure enough, hundreds of undead monsters appeared before them. The hunters said, "Damn, they really appeared. How are we going to attack?" Strangely, however, the undead monsters just stood still upon seeing the hunters. Normally, they would attack immediately after seeing an enemy. "They seem afraid of something," said one hunter. On one side, Jinwoo thought to himself, "I was hoping to encounter high-level monsters in a gate this big, but it seems this will be very boring." However, Jinwoo suddenly felt something terrifying. "What is this feeling? It can't be. I'm sensing a strong transmission from the shadow soldiers I placed with Jinna. Is Jinna in danger? Damn it, I need to get there quickly." He then told Jong-soo that he had to leave as soon as possible. "There's an important matter I must attend to." Jong-soo replied, "What are you talking about, Hunter Sung? If you're not here, we'll all be in danger. You understand that, right?" Jinwoo said, "In that case, I'll do this. I will leave behind one of my soldiers who can take my place. He will handle everything here." Jinwoo then summoned Baru. Seeing Jinwoo's shadow soldier, Jong-soo and all his members were utterly shocked. That creature? Hunter Sung, isn't that the ant that appeared on Jeju Island?" Jinwoo answered, "Since you already know, I don't need to explain further. Now he will take my place here." Jinwoo then gave Baru the order to protect all the humans. Baru replied, "Very well, Master. But what about those who are not human?" "Do as you please, Baru." Baru then released his powerful aura. Feeling Baru's immense power, the hunters were terrified. Jinwoo then summoned several more ant soldiers. Jinwoo said, "They are soldiers who will assist you. 20 soldiers should be enough, right?" Meanwhile, Jong-soo and Jung-yeon exclaimed, Wait, hold on. Are you really just going to leave like this? What if your shadow soldiers lose control?" Jinwoo looked angered and said, "If you don't want them, I will withdraw my soldiers. Isn't it better to have them than to have nothing at all?" Seeing Jinwoo's anger, Jung-soo and his team became terrified and complied with his decision. Because the shadow exchange skill was still on cooldown, Jinwoo couldn't go directly to Jin-ah. Damn it! Why now of all times? Jinwoo quickly moved to leave the dungeon. He was extremely panicked and worried about Jin-ah's situation. However, as he was about to exit the dungeon, a group of undead soldiers appeared, blocking the gate. Jinwoo drew his dagger and said, "Get out of my way." Strangely, the undead soldiers standing before him suddenly bowed towards Jinwoo. Jinwoo was slightly surprised. Why are they bowing to me? Is it because I am the Shadow Monarch? Jinwoo then summoned Kaisel and leaped over the undead army to exit the dungeon. Kaisel appeared as Jinwoo emerged outside. Jinwoo said to Kaisel, "Fly as fast as you can to where my sister is." In his extreme panic, Jinwoo activated the Domain of the Monarch skill. Activating this skill increased Kaisel's stats by 50%. This allowed Kaisel to fly at an even greater speed towards Jin-ah's location. The scene then shifts to Jin-ah's school. The 3 High Orc Shadow Soldiers were fighting and eliminating the monsters there. Seeing this, the students were amazed, wondering if these 3 monsters were protecting them. One High Orc Shadow Soldier was seen protecting Jin-ah very closely. The Shadow Soldiers then turned towards something, sensing an imminent arrival. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, within the school, a monstrous orc was seen sitting on its throne. The monster said, "I am Groktar, chieftain of the great orc tribe. Now all those who would stop me are gone." However, a moment later, his subordinate reported, "The humans are being protected by 3 High Orc warriors." "What? You useless fools! Can the warriors of the Great Orc tribe not handle 3 high orcs? This is pathetic. Show me the way. I will hunt them down myself. The scene returns to the guild knight team, still inside the dungeon. Baru's shadow ants were easily wiping out the undead army. Seeing this, the hunters were terrified of the ants. What if they turn on us? What should we do, Chairman? Jung-soo thought. If he retreated now, what would he say to the reporters waiting outside? Should he say they withdrew because the summoner's soldiers were too frightening? As Jung-soo was pondering this, Baru suddenly stood before him, startling Jung-soo and sending shivers of fear down his spine. I think I'll just go now. Baru then threw something at Jung-soo and continued deeper into the dungeon. The object Baru threw turned out to be the head of a Death Knight monster. A hunter said, "Look at this!" That ant easily defeated a high-level monster. Jung-soo smiled and said, "If the ant is this strong, how much profit can we make?" "Who's retreating now?" Another hunter shouted, "What are you doing, Chairman?" "If you don't hurry, we'll leave you behind." "Damn it! You guys are really eager." The scene shifts back to the school situation. Groktar, the leader of the Great Orc monsters, now faced the 3 High Orc shadow soldiers. The Orc monsters cheered for their chieftain. Groktar said, "Your tattoos are proof of the number of battles you fought in your lives. You must have fought and killed many. But is this all you're capable of? Entertain me." At that moment, Groktar moved swiftly and unleashed a sword slash. However, the shadow soldiers managed to block the attack. Groktar was slightly surprised. "So you can block my attack? But this is nothing." Groktar then unleashed even greater power in a single slash, cleaving the shadow soldiers in 2. Surprisingly, the shadow soldiers quickly regenerated. Seeing this, Groktar was astonished. What kind of magic is this? Why do their bodies regenerate automatically? As Groktar pondered this, he suddenly felt a pain in his head and heard a command to kill all humans. Damn! This command is getting stronger. I must finish this quickly. If they use regeneration magic, we must take out the caster first. That's right, kill the woman behind them first. Kill that lowly human. Since the shadow soldiers recovered after being attacked, Groktar ordered his subordinates to continuously attack them. Immediately, the orc monsters surrounded the shadow soldiers and attacked brutally. Outnumbered, the shadow soldiers were pushed back. Meanwhile, the female students grew more panicked. At that moment, Groktar swiftly grabbed Jinah's head. "You're the witch! I can feel the flow of magic from you." Jinah was now helpless. "Die, human." However, before he could kill Jinah, Groktar suddenly sensed a terrifying aura approaching. So terrifying was the aura he felt that Groktar froze and released Jinah. Groktar said, "What is this aura? Something monstrous is coming. Everyone, be on guard." And boom! An explosion occurred there, and at that moment, a voice said, "Calm down, Jinah. Everything will be all right now." It was Jinwoo, who had arrived by bursting through the school wall. Groktar looked at Jinwoo and said, "I am Groktar, chieftain of the Great Orc tribe." With his terrifying aura, Jinwoo stepped forward towards Groktar. "You, stay quiet and wait your turn." Jinah then hugged Jinwoo, crying in fear. Jinwoo said, "Sorry I'm late. Is everyone okay?" The students replied, "We're fine." Meanwhile, Song-yi felt Jinwoo's truly terrifying aura. Jinwoo then saw the red marks on Jinah's face, as if she had been grabbed. This, of course, enraged Jinwoo even further. Jinwoo summoned an Igris shadow to protect Jinah and escort the students away from there. Seeing the humans trying to leave, the orc monsters intended to attack. But Jinwoo immediately stopped them and spoke in the monster language. "I said, don't anyone move." With the help of the shadow soldiers, the students were successfully evacuated. After all the students had left, Groktar said, "So that's how it is. Those immortal soldiers earlier were yours. Who are you? How can you speak our language?" But due to his extreme rage, Jinwoo remained silent. Groktar said, "It seems you're unwilling to answer. Fine, everyone, attack him." Immediately after, the orc monsters rushed to attack Jinwoo. When one monster swung its axe, Jinwoo quickly grabbed its arm and slammed it to the ground. Then viciously, Jinwoo crushed its head under his foot. After that, 2 more orc monsters attacked. Jinwoo activated the monarch's domination skill. With just a wave of his hand, he easily controlled the 2 monsters' bodies. With another hand gesture, he crushed them. The other monsters became enraged and attacked Jinwoo simultaneously. But with immense speed, Jinwoo eliminated all the monsters with just his bare hands. Seeing this, Groktar couldn't believe his subordinates were defeated so easily. In an instant, Jinwoo grabbed Groktar's head and slammed him hard against the wall. Jinwoo looked around and saw the students who had been slaughtered by these monsters. Jinwoo said, "You bastard! Why are you so desperate to kill humans?" Groktar answered, "Because the command in our heads constantly orders us to kill humans." Jinwoo asked again, "What about me? Do you hear a command to kill me?" Groktar replied, "No, I don't hear that command. Please spare me." Jinwoo said, "So, in your opinion, am I not human? I think your death will be quite uncomfortable." Immediately after, the furious Jinwoo began slicing Groktar to pieces with his dagger. The scene returns to the Guild Knight team still inside the dungeon. There, the Shadow Ant soldiers were eating the defeated undead army. Meanwhile, young Yerim was trying to pull a monster corpse from the Shadow Ant's mouth. She said, "Let go quickly. This monster is valuable to sell, especially this vampire monster." Annoyed by being tugged at, the Shadow Ant injured Yerim. Immediately, Baru came and stopped their conflict. Baru then used healing magic to treat Yerim's wound. Seeing herself healed, Yerim was amazed. "How is this summon's healing skill better than mine?" After venturing deeper into the dungeon, they arrived at a room where the dungeon boss resided. The room was guarded by Arclight, a necromancer monster floating among his high-ranking undead troops. The hunters who saw it said, "So the dungeon boss is Arclight? He's even stronger than a Death Knight." Jungsu said, "Damn it! Among all dungeon bosses, this monster is infamous for annihilating the Huangriong Guild in China. Because they couldn't defeat the boss in the unranked dungeon, a dungeon break occurred. Luckily, the incident was contained thanks to Hunter Liu Jigang. And damn it, all the undead monsters here can't be considered ordinary rank A. What should we do now, Chairman?" However, more undead soldiers suddenly appeared from outside the room. They were now surrounded from both front and back. Jungsu yelled, "Damn it! The undead army defeated by the Shadow Ants has been revived. Yerim, use your skill now." Yerim activated her Holy Shield skill to block the undead from the rear. Jungsu felt that this raid would be impossible without Hunter Sung Jinwoo. Yerim shouted, "Chairman! This skill only lasts for 5 minutes. Defeat the boss quickly." Amid the panic, Baru approached the dungeon boss. From the air, the dungeon boss said, "You are shadow soldiers? Why are the shadow soldiers of the monarch attacking us?" Baru pointed at him and replied, "Because the monarch has chosen us while you were not chosen." The dungeon boss said, "Impossible. I will ask the monarch myself what is truly happening." However, in that instant, Baru was already right in front of the dungeon boss and attacked immediately. "Stop your incessant chatter and just die." The monster fell face first to the ground. With its sharp claws, Bidu then stabbed the monster's stomach and brutally ripped out its life core. The monster screamed, "No!" Instantly, Bidu crushed the monster's life core. Thus, the dungeon boss was defeated. And at the same time, the army of monsters surrounding Jungsu and his members collapsed on their own. Baru roared as if to show off his might. Seeing the ant defeat the dungeon boss in a single attack, the hunters were in disbelief. Jungsu said, "I knew the ant was strong, but I never imagined it was this strong. Normally, summoning a monster should drain the summoner's mana, but the number he summoned this time isn't even half the number of soldiers he deployed on Jeju Island." Seeing Hunter Sung's current power, the Buster Guild is nothing in front of him. He's truly insane. Vice Guild Master Jungsu then said, "Chief, perhaps we should try to form a cooperation, or at least a non-aggression pact with Hunter Sung's guild." Jungsu replied, "What did you say? Do you even know what forming a cooperation means? Just imagine, a new guild founded by a great hunter like him and one of the top 5 major guilds cooperating. How good would that be?" Vice Guild Master Jungsu said, "That seems like nothing but a pipe dream. Just by seeing this event, it seems Hunter Sung could clear a high-ranking dungeon alone." But on the other hand, Jungsu smiled and replied, "That's true, but remember, there are rules established by the Hunter Association. And of course, even Hunter Sung cannot break them. His subordinate asked, "What do you mean, Chief?" Young-soo answered, "The requirement for a raid is a minimum number of members. No matter how great Hunter Sung is, he still has to follow the established rules." Vice Guild Master Jung-soo smiled and said, "You're right, Chief. Our guild lacks combat power, and his guild lacks members. It should be a mutually beneficial solution. If we succeed in cooperating with him, wouldn't we gain many benefits?" Young-soo replied, "That's correct. In fact, it's not just many benefits, but far too many benefits. Let's try to cooperate with him again."